And that's it. All right, so coming out of that big main solo, we're into a breakdown section. The chords for the breakdown are E, these are all power chords, E, G, A, C, and then a quick D, G. So it sounds like this. Okay, does that quite a few times, and there's some little guitar fills in there while that's going on. So you can just make some noises by scratching. Slash is using the wah-wah when he does that scratch. So you scratch, you just place your left hand over the string so that you have no chord. So when you hit the strings, it just sounds like this. One fill that's kind of cool is this, where he plays E minor pentatonic, starting on the 7th fret of the D. We play 7 to 5 on the D, then the A, then the E string. Slide down to G. He lands on G because that's the second chord that we're going to go to. He does this over E, and he lands on that G note when the band goes to a G chord. There's also some trills in there. One that he does is between the D and the E notes on the 7th fret to the 9th fret of the G. Okay, and then it finally builds out of this breakdown section into the where do we go now, where do we go? The vocals come in really loud, but there's also a little bit of soloing behind the vocals. So I thought maybe we could take a look at just a few of these parts that stick out here. It starts off like this. We're going to do a big bend on the 22nd fret. The note is D. We're going to bend up to an E. And then he goes into the 17th fret of the high E with these pre-bends. So we're going to bend up before we strike the note. And that's always a really emotional effect if you do that pre-bend several times in a row. And then we're going to the root note E, which is found on the 17th fret of the B string. Okay, so that's the part of this section that sticks out the most, to me anyway, is that big bend on the 22nd fret, back to the 17 with those pre-bends, and then there's some other just bluesy fills. You can fill it up with notes from the E minor pentatonic scale or the E minor scale. One fill that I thought was pretty nice, he does this lick, 12 on the high E, 15 to 12 on the B, 14 on the G. And he plays it a whole bunch of times really fast. So it's going to be a pull-off on the B string here. Okay, you can just kind of go crazy, have a little bit of fun with that. The part that's important to catch is at the end of this, we're going to have this phrase where the whole band plays together. And this is going right down the E blues scale. So we're on the note E, which is found on the 17th fret of the B string, 15 B, 16, 15, 14 G, now we're going to land 12 on the G and the root note E, 14th fret of the D string. Okay, that's important to catch that if you're doing the soloing. Okay, and then he continues a little bit with more pre-bends on the 14th fret of the G string. And then finally we have the ending phrase, which sounds like this. Okay, so this is going to be 14 on the D. Strike that and slide down to the 9 on the same D string. Strike the 9, go back to 5 on the D. Now go to the A string, hit the 10th fret, slide back to the 7th, slide back to the 2nd, and then we're going to slide into the 5th fret of the E string, slide back to the 3rd fret of the E string, pull off to the open E. So once again, here's the whole ending phrase. And there you have Sweet Child of Mine.